So tell me about the sales process. Not today. We can maybe compare that to how you do it today. But when you first identified this ICP and you said, okay, we're going to go out and we're going to do outbound and we're going to try and land some of these deals, what did that outbound process look like? And typically, like, how long was the sales cycle like for you to get from like first touch to closing this type of deal?
I mean, so that's always also evolved throughout the years, and I think that what always worked best for us has been to go out there, talk to the customer, and try to get some like initial understanding of their situation, and then move straight from that to provide value instead of like doing hypothetical demos and stuff like that. I think that we always try to set up a trial account to get the customer's data into the account so they see the actual. Basically, we onboard them as if they would have been a paying customer. I think that has always been the most effective way. I mean, that's not always possible depending on what product you're selling, but for us, that has always been the fastest way to win the deal. And it's funny because this was basically what we were doing in the beginning. Because as a bootstrapped company, I mean, you literally have a gun to your head, and you need to close business to be ordered to pay the rent and buy lunch, basically. So anybody who wanted to work with us, I mean, we would do whatever they needed. So we did all these crazy customizations and all of this crazy stuff in the beginning. And then we moved to this more kind of, professional selling process, if you will. And then lately, the last 2 or 3 years, we kind of went back to the initial way we used to work with customers of just skip all the sales stuff and just show them the value, because that's what matters for the customer.
Give me an example of when you mean like skip the sales stuff and show them value. So I think what you just described there in terms of saying, hey, we get their data in, even if they're just a trial, and depending on the type of customer and the data they have, I assume could become quite a significant piece of work for your team to do that well. But I can see the value in it, because you give somebody access to an account and there's no data in there.
Exactly.
And they're thinking to themselves, okay, I can kind of play around with this, but I don't really know how this is going to work. And the effort required to take all my data and put it into here for a trial, I'm not going to waste time doing that. And so there's this risk that this trial never goes anywhere. And so I think it's super smart to say, no. We know this is a hurdle for potential customers. And so we're going to get past that and make it easier for them. So I think that's a great, solid example. But what do you mean by like skip the sales stuff and do that? So what were some of the things that you were doing less of?
Most sales calls and sales meetings, you talk about like hypothetical stuff. You have a demo account with fake data, and you're sitting there kind of discussing the. You don't really get to the real stuff. So I think like the typical software selling process, you have this workshop and you're sitting there talking about all of the stuff, but it's always like that when you actually start to log into the account and to try to figure out exactly what the customer needs to do, that's when you get all the answers. So I think this builds a lot of trust. And when you sit in this hypothetical workshop discussion, the customer is always thinking, okay, this sounds really good in theory, but I don't really know if it will work in reality. So and we all that's also one of the reasons why we spend so much time building integrations to like the most common like other tools that our target market is using to kind of accelerate the way to get the data in.